Right, so on today's episode of the High Performance Hub, we are joined by Lamiya Lee. Lamiya is the owner of Lammys Bakehouse and is also a certified personal trainer. So in today's episode, what we're going to be delving deeper into is her success as an entrepreneur, a business owner, and honestly, how she divides owning a bakery and excelling in fitness. Welcome.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm very excited to be here.
Amazing. So for my own personal kind of wanting to know, what is your favorite thing that you make?
My favorite thing that I make, I really love the Pop-Tarts. Like just growing up, that was like our childhood favorite. And like I love, like Fruity Pebbles was another like favorite, like when we were little. So like the Fruity Pebble Pop-Tart that I have is like just all the sisters, all of us just like swoon over it. It's so good.
Love that. So from, obviously we've been following each other for a while now, and I see that there's a lot of kind of things that you make from your childhood.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's all about the like nostalgic things. Like anything that I can like bring back like from those memories when we were little and like recreate it now and give me those same feelings, I think is, I don't know, it's like magic.
Amazing. So where did the love and the passion for bakery come in?
So kind of like we grew up in the kitchen with my mom, like cooking and baking, and so it was kind of part of the culture. She was more so of a savory cook, and we were more like the sweet tooth. So she would make all like the food, and then we would like be in the kitchen messing around making like dessert or baking something.
So would you say the bakery side of you came out, was it before or after fitness?
So it was always there, but I didn't ever think I could make like a profession or career out of making like cookies or making sweet things. So the fitness, I became a personal trainer first. And then during COVID is kind of where the baking like came to life, you know, because everything was shut down and I was like a cocktail server prior in the industry. And I was like, what am I going to do? You know? And then I was like, well, what do I like? What do I love? And fitness and baking like were really like my true passions.
That's amazing. Well, it's the same with me, like because I worked on cruise ships and then I left just before COVID hit. Mm-hmm. And then that kind of pushed me into fitness even more. Like I've always played sport and whatnot, but COVID was like, right now is the time to actually get qualified and make something. It. But you said about you didn't know that you could like monetize, let's say, a hobby, a passion. Mm-hmm. When was that moment when you were like, oh, this could work?
Honestly, I feel like it was just like a aha moment where I was like, what do I have to lose if I do it and it works great, and if I don't do it, then at least I tried, you know? And it was part-time because like we did end up, like everything ended up reopening, and then I did go back into cocktailing, and then I was like part-time cocktailing, part-time training, and then the baking too. And so I was like doing all three, and what really gave me the most happiness, like I was very grateful for the cocktailing because that allowed me to do what I'm doing now. But it didn't give me like, it didn't make like my heart super happy. Mm-hmm. You know that feeling like whenever I'm training or whenever I'm baking, like I get into like a flow, and like that's like when I knew like that.
I love that. So with people watching and myself included, it's obviously the obvious question. How do you manage? Like for me, if I had my own bakery, I would taste test everything, but then I'd end up eating like the cookie dough mix.
Right.
Like I just can't get my head around that.
Yes. So I think I just have, I obviously like a lot of discipline, and there's like balance because I have to taste everything, and there are days where I'll cut the cookie in half and like put the cookie like the other half away, right? Only to go back to eat the rest of the cookie. But I usually like I work out like 5 to 6 days a week. I'm a better person when I work out. Like I need that. So it just balances out. Like, I mean, I like to think I have a really healthy relationship with food. So, like, if I know I'm going to just eat terrible, like, the next day or taste test a bunch of new things, I'm going to eat clean, like, leading up to that day. So I can enjoy that day and not feel guilty.
Yeah. I love that. And I'm in shoot prep at the minute. So those boxes...
You can freeze those, too.
Oh, come on. Because Lamiya just gave me a box of cookies. And... I'm excited. But building that self-discipline is what I kind of push onto my clients in the sense that it doesn't just happen overnight. Mm-hmm. You need a conscious effort and just be like, right, I don't need that now, but I can have it, but just not now.
Exactly.
And just moderate it. And when I done the last shoot with Mark, someone was like, oh, did you not eat carbs for 3 months? I was like, no, I think I had pasta every other day. Like, and it's just all about moderation and understanding nutrition.
100%.
So one thing that I was thinking of on the way here is, for me, to get a basis of nutrition, what I did was like track my calories for a while.
Mm-hmm.
So then you understand like kind of portion control, like the quality of protein, the fat within certain foods and whatnot. Did you do something similar in the sense of understand nutrition before then?
Yes. So I used to use MyFitnessPal, and like you said, I think moderation is 100% key. I think like you have to be able to like understand that and grasp that. Otherwise, you'll just be like, you're like, oh, this is not bad, or a little bit of this, and then until you actually track it and you see like how many calories or fat is in something, you're like, oh no. Or you use a scale, like I've done that too. But yeah, definitely, I completely lost my train of thought. What the hell?
No, it's so like tracking to get a basis of nutrition and your knowledge now.
Okay, yes, yeah. So I feel like I was so strict in the beginning just because I need that discipline, I need that strictness to stay stay with my goal. But once like you kind of understand, it kind of becomes a part of your life and a part of your routine, like understanding like, because after you weigh something a couple of times, you kind of have an idea like how it looks on your plate or how it looks in your bowl. And I just got good at doing that. And then also like giving myself permission to like have cheat days, like, or a cheat meal. I think it's better, because before I'd be like, oh, I need a cheat day, and then all day I'm eating like crap, and then the next day I feel terrible. So I'm like, I need a cheat meal. And because I feel like I enjoy eating healthy, I also enjoy eating, like a 3-year-old. So
Who doesn't? Yeah.
So yeah.
No, that's something that I kind of am building out at the minute, is this high performance balance. Kind of the training behind it is, the first thing you develop is discipline.
Mm-hmm.
And when you develop discipline, it gives you more freedom, literally linking into exactly what you just said. So you can go into like a restaurant, and if you're getting ready to go to Mexico, or a pool pie that's
Mm-hmm.
a 30th, or whatever it is, you can go into that and order like a fillet of fish instead of a double cheeseburger.
Exactly.
But it's not like you'll never have that again.
And it's like those small little wins, like once you do them, like, just feeling that like accomplishment for yourself is, I think, the biggest thing. Because it's like, it's terrible to let someone else down, but when you let yourself down, like if you're like, hey, today I'm not eating any sugar, and then you end up having sugar, like that sucks. Like you want to keep that promise to yourself, and I think that's where it kind of starts. Like if you can keep that promise to yourself.
Yeah, and MyFitnessPal, like with my clients, like it's a tool. It's like no one's going to be tracking their calories when they're 60, 65, 70.
Mm-hmm.
So it's using it as a tool, executing that process,
Mm-hmm.
and then building that basis of knowledge. So when you're taste testing, when you're doing all these things, do you then kind of reverse engineer that in the way, for example, if you're training for a half marathon, which you have done, and
Mm-hmm.
you probably do another
Yeah,
one
I
this
have
year.
one this Sunday.
There
I'm
you
doing
go.
the rock and roll. I'm
Amazing.
excited.
So obviously you may take that into account. For example, if you're creating a new batch of cookies with, like, which we'll go into,
Mm-hmm.
you'll be like, right, if that's going to be X amount of sugar, fat, calories, then do you take that away from the following day or the same day? Yeah.
So if I know, also with my training, if I'm running 7 miles and I'm going to be burning like over 700 calories, I'm like, I do not care. And I almost try to like line that up so those days are like, they fall on the same day. But I definitely take that into account. So if I have a day where I'm going to be taste testing and I know I'm going to just be eating like crazy, then yeah, that's just how it, yeah.
Amazing. No. Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah.
So for someone that struggles with self-discipline and they're always faced with like kind of like the snacking,
Mm-hmm.
what would be kind of your advice, like the first step, just the first kind of mental switch?
My first thing, because I like am a huge snacker and I love snacking, is just to be like kind to yourself and remember that you're human. And the first couple of times, like you may mess up or not like stick to your goal, but that's okay, because eventually like you'll get there. As long as you like have a goal and like I want to like either like look this way or cut this amount like a much weight. Like if you want that, you're gonna put the effort in to like work for it. So I would just be kind to yourself and give yourself grace, I think is like the biggest thing for me.
Yeah, that's a lot of kind of conversations, and the coaching aspect of what I do around nutrition is not when someone says, oh, I went out and had 4 cookies, a burger, then I got In-N-Out, and then I got a Subway or whatever it is. I should be like, right, how did that make you feel? And it's always like crap.
Like crap. Yeah.
So I was like, right, sweet. There's not like, why do you do that? Why do you do this? It's okay. Next time in that situation, let's just make a better choice.
Just be a little bit more mindful, I think, is what it is, instead of just like mindlessly like, well, I want this. And also, I think it's like your cravings. Like you have these cravings, and like just, I guess that goes in with discipline though, because you get stronger each time you like say no. You know, you're like no, and then you feel better. So.
I know. I think I said this. I can't remember. It was to one of my clients. I was like, I bought my wife like some flowers and a big bag of Kit Kats for Valentine's Day, and they're in the fridge. And I was like, in my head, I was like, why did I do that? And I'm like, I'm probably subconsciously tricking myself to stay disciplined and not having it.
Just see it every day, like open the fridge, like, no, I'm not going to do it.
And another one of my clients, Elise, went to the Cheesecake Factory to get her daughter a slice of chocolate cake. And she's obsessed with cheesecake. And obviously, probably the worst place to go. Yeah. But she stuck strong.
Oh, good.
And she was buzzing.
That's such a
win. And I was
win.
like, that's huge.
Yes.
That's absolutely huge.
Yeah.
And it's those, like, we keep saying it's like those decisions that you just need to compound.
Also, I feel like setting yourself up for success. So how I am, I know if I were to buy a bag of Kit Kats or a bag of Doritos, I don't have the control. Like, I just have a couple. I don't even buy it. I just, like, won't even, or I'll buy, like, a healthy option for it. So, like, I'll just, like, clean out your fridge, clean out your pantry. So, like, when you have those temptations, there's, like, yogurt or fruit or nuts, and, like, you just lean towards that instead of, like, you know, the Kit Kat. Because, like, bag of fruit or, you know, Kit Kat, you're going to probably want the Kit Kat.
It's so much easier for me to be and like, stay in shape when I'm in Vegas. And I remember saying to one of my mates, I was like, I can't wait to go back to Vegas to get back in shape. And they were like, that doesn't make sense. Because Vegas is obviously like the party state.
Is it because you're in your routine?
Routine, but also like when I obviously go back to England, I stay with my parents. And there's just like, I mean, do you know what I mean? There's
nothing beats that, like home cooked meals, whatever they're
Exactly.
making, like obviously you're going to indulge and enjoy. And then I'm sure there's a bunch of great restaurants or places that you like to go to.
My kind of sweet treats now is like dark chocolate or like yogurt fruit. Like it's all healthy treats. And I feel so much better.
Yeah.
But when I do get those like impulses of snacking, I can go through a bag of M&Ms.
I believe it.
Like so easily. It's so bad.
Yeah.
So leading on from that, as you've like obviously like you say doing a half marathon on Sunday, you've done half marathons, done events, keep yourself in immaculate shape.
Thank you.
Do you feel like your baking business is starting to like channel into more of kind of protein cookies and all that stuff?
So last year I had like a handful of people asking me to make a protein cookie, and then also anytime I'm selling the cookies and people walk up to me, they're like, you eat these cookies, you eat these Pop-Tarts? And I'm like, yes. They're like, no way. Like really, like I've had like deep conversations with people, and so I feel like I'm half fit and half fat. Like I'm a fat kid at heart, and I'm also just like fitness is a huge part of my life. So I'm really excited. In the next like month, I'm going to be coming out with a protein cookie. So it's going to be gluten-free, it'll be vegan, it'll be no seed oils, protein, collagen, superfoods, and it tastes amazing. That was like the biggest thing, to get the taste and texture. And yeah, so I'm very, very proud of it, and I can't wait to share it with everybody.
I can't wait to eat it. What is the process like? So I can imagine there's not so much failures, but like trial and error, a lot of lessons learned. So you'll put a lot of time in working out the ingredients, the weights, the nutrition in each.
The biggest thing for me was I wanted the sugar to be low and I wanted the protein to be high, but then I wanted it to have like a good texture. And it was like, how many batches of cookies did I like go through, to the point where I was like, I don't want another cookie right now. I was just like so over it. So I would just have to give myself a couple days and then get back into it. But yeah, and then my sisters and then like friends like will obviously come over, because I want them to be like criticize the hell out of this cookie and like tell me the truth. So it's just a bunch of that, like a bunch of trial and error and a bunch of taste testing, glasses of milk. I love like milk or like a latte to go with the cookie. And then yeah, we got it down.
A lot of people will be like, this is impossible. I don't know how you do it. I couldn't do it. So with like pushing into more fitness, what is the direct correlation you feel between not just like owning a business really, and how fitness has impacted your kind of success? and also like kind of the mental capabilities to go into your bakery with like a fresh perspective every single day. Like if a recipe doesn't go well, if the batch doesn't come out the way you want it, to able to bounce back and be like, no, do you know what, I'm going to step away, come back fresh tomorrow.
Yeah. Honestly, I feel like my relationship with fitness has given me my mindset and my perspective on life. I don't know if you can relate to what I mean.
100%.
Yeah, and so anytime anyone asks me, I'm like, I am a better person when I lift, when I run, when I stay to my routine, because like it gave me like this structure, this routine, this like self-love and self-respect, but it all came from when I started to really like focus on my fitness, and it's like a whole thing, like meditation and journaling and all of it. It goes hand in hand. And so like when I'm on a long run and I'm like, this sucks. Like I'm at mile 6 and I'm like, I don't want to run anymore. You know, like I'm just like over it. And it's like, no, like we said, we're going to do 8 today. Like we're going to finish just 2 more. And so it kind of helps like build resilience, I guess, in that space. But then that also translates to my personal relationships, my intimate relationships, and to business is what I've found. And yeah, just like I'm a stronger person. I'm a better person. And that shows in every aspect of my life. So I'm super grateful for that.
Yeah, for me, there is a direct correlation between fitness and business performance.
Mm-hmm.
Like you just said, it builds that resilience when all you want to do is stop, turn around, and go back. But you just like, and then you get to the 8 miles, but you look back and be like, was it actually that hard? Or was it just
It's
my
like
brain?
It's like that little voice in your head. And if you can like learn how to control that and be like, okay, obviously if you're in pain or something's happening, okay, like you would stop. But if it's just because like it sucks, and if you can push like past that suck, then I just feel like, A, it's a win. And then you feel stronger. And then you're like, I can do anything. You can conquer. Because really, like we can do anything we set our mind to. So.
But that goes into kind of, you push those last 2 miles to finish that 8 mile run.
Mm-hmm.
And then you'll take that resilience into when a batch of cookies just a sense fails, because not everything that you cook is going to go perfectly.
Like it's not spreading the right way, or the texture is off, and it's like so frustrating. But like I guess in those moments I am just like, okay, we're going to take a little break. That's the thing. Give yourself permission to like reset in anything that you're doing, because we are human, and every day we can't like, at least for me, this is what I've learned, is that they're like a scale 1 to 10. Like every day we're not going to be a 10. There are some days that we're a 3, and there's some days that we're like a 6. And it's like to give yourself like, okay, today I have to take a little bit slow. And then the days when you wake up and you feel like you're a 10, then like go hard and push yourself. Yeah. But just to be able to like know yourself and like give yourself that like self-love and like grace.
Yeah, 100%. It was kind of for me yesterday was a full circle moment, because I was in the mentorship I'm with. They're like the high performing coaches are in like a higher group.
Mm-hmm.
And we were presenting or it was like a round table, like a Q&A, and people were asking us questions, and it was like a pinch myself moment, in the sense that as if I'm helping other coaches on that mentorship.
Yeah.
And we were talking about like kind of how to deal with the ups and downs. And for me, it's like when you get success, like for example, when you get a PB month in selling, or
mm-hmm.
like at the Uncommons when you're selling, you're just like, oh, sold out. Yeah, enjoy it. But for me, it was about staying humble with those successes. So then when you're humble with that success, when you go into like the lows, which everyone will experience,
mm-hmm.
they're just like a good day's waiting around the corner.
A bad day is too.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But then it's making those bad days obviously not as bad, but having that emotional control and maturity to be, like you just said, give yourself grace, take a deep breath, and be like, right, is it in my control? Sweet. Let's put the wheels in motion. Let's put our best foot forward. If it's not in our control, for example, if your oven went out or whatever, you can't control that. So it's just like, right, well, don't waste time, effort, emotion on that, and just start building back up again.
Exactly. So it's very like solution based. Like your approach is always like, what's the solution? Which I think is really healthy, to have that emotional awareness and be like, okay, like this sucked. What can we do to make it better? Instead of just like, oh, poor me. Oh, this is horrible. Everyone's again, whatever. You know, like that victim mindset.
Victim mindset, yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's class. So what is kind of your vision for Lammys Bakehouse?
So last year, if you asked me this, I'd be like, I want to have 10 locations. I want to be the next Crumble. But honestly, like my quality of life is so important, as obviously along with my success. I would be very happy to have one bakery in Vegas and it be very successful, or a couple in Vegas and be happy with that. Because I also want to be able to enjoy like my life with like my loved ones and not make everything this about work. Because I feel like last year I was like go, 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 go to the point where like it was like, you know, when you keep like going and pushing yourself and you're getting very close to like burning out. And that's where I like learned, it's like, okay, I need to give myself grace. I need to understand like there are some days you can't like go 100% every single day. And so that was my lesson, I think, from last year. And so I think a couple of bakeries in Vegas and my heart would be happy.
No, I love that, because I think anyone, in my opinion, anyone that owns their own business, their identity is their business. Mm-hmm. So, like for people that I coach, they'll look at me and be like, right, I want to perform like that. Not essentially like look like that, but if I'm keeping myself fit, healthy, I've got energy, I know how to bounce back from failures, and I'm successful, then that's going to want people to kind of join the team. And it's the same with my mentorship and the coaches that I have, mm-hmm. and all that. So then people looking up to you and be like, right, okay, I can learn moderation with nutrition. I can get in incredible shape and push my life forward. So you're like the business card, in my opinion.
Really?
For moderation.
Aww.
No, because a lot of people would be like, right, I need to lose 20 pounds. I can't touch a slice of pizza or a cookie. And it's not like that. Yeah,
I think that's like you'll always end up failing, I feel like, because everything is moderation. Everything in life is moderation. So I think understanding that, and it's like moderation, being kind to yourself, and then like having like a goal, having like your discipline, and I feel like that will like lead you to your North Star.
Yeah, 100%. It's interesting you say about a goal, because for me, if I haven't got, and it's that funny thing you see on Instagram now, is like, you can tell when someone's over 30 because they start doing half marathons, they start doing high roxes, and I was like, oh, guilty. But for me, if I don't have, like, last year I had 2 half marathons and a high rocks. This year I've got a photo shoot and 2 half marathons. I need something. I always need something in the diary.
You need that challenge or something to you would continue working towards.
The training will change. The nutrition will slightly change, and it gives you a different focus. Mm-hmm. And I know not everyone, like if anyone's watching, they'll be like, well, I don't want to do that. Mm-hmm. And that's absolutely fine. And if you want to work up to city breaks or holidays with loved ones and whoever, or if it's a lad's holiday to Ibiza or anything, having a goal in place gives everything purpose. Mm-hmm. And when you have purpose and you have the direction and the framework, the momentum's scary. And that is what I love, because I like jump on calls with people on the team now, like I can see their full potential when they don't see themselves. Mm-hmm. And then it's creating that kind of, I try not to be too excited because I'm looking past where they are currently. Yeah. So it's putting the building blocks in place, and then when they start to see it, it's literally the best feeling in the world.
Oh, I love that. It's amazing.
No, it's great. So with the half marathon, how's that training been?
I love long distance, so the training's good. It's not that I have a hard time, but when I have to do like the sprints, that's where I'm like, okay, I gotta pump myself up. But it's like usually faster than running like, for an hour and a half. But it's been really good. I also lift though. I like to like mix in like weightlifting with the running, and I love it. I feel like when I'm running, it's like therapy. It's therapeutic to me after you like get the runner's high and you kind of get into like that flow state. And I love it. But I do have high rocks on my list as well, and I'm doing the Spartan on March 15th because I wanted to mix it up. I wanted to do some different things as well, just to keep it like fun and interesting.
No, it's really good that you mentioned that you still continue to weightlift whilst like training for a half. Because I've lost count of how many people I've trained for half marathons, and they're training like at least in the gym 3 times a week. But obviously it's tailored towards improving their running and their lower body strength and just basically everything to get them the best time possible. Mm-hmm. And it's so good when that comes off as well, because one of my clients said that he's getting kind of like fatigue in his hamstrings and glutes when he gets past like 10 miles. Mm-hmm. And he's got a half marathon that he wants to get a PB in, and then 3 weeks later he's doing a marathon that he wants to get a PB in.
Good for him.
And I'm like, as a coach, I'm like, there's not enough time.
Yeah, there isn't enough time. Is he still doing that though?
Yeah, he's smashing it.
Okay.
And so what we've done is, I was like, these gym sessions aren't essentially going to leave you feeling pumped. Like, you're not going to leave with kind of a big chest or big arms. Yeah, we'll throw some accessory stuff in there to like get the endorphins going. But we just put a lot of volume through the glutes, the hammies. And then he sent me a message like last week. And he was like, mate, I felt stronger at the end than I did at the start. There was no fatigue, and I was just like, oh, sweet. It's just like those coaching moments.
That's like, amazing, where it's like all worth it.
Yeah, so good. So with the high rocks, singles, doubles.
I don't know. I haven't signed up for the high rocks yet. Are you doing?
I do want to do another one, but I think what my mistake last year was I did both half marathons and a high rocks within 3.5 months of each other.
Okay, so that's why I was a little bit nervous, because my half marathon is on Sunday, and then the high rocks is on the 15th of March. So
the Spartan?
Yes, yeah. I'm sorry, the Spartan, not the high rocks, yeah.
You'll be fine. I think you'll be fine with that, because, well, I was going to do a Tough Mudder, which is very similar to a Spartan, but in the UK and yeah.
I've heard of it.
But I snapped my ligaments in my ankle.
Oh,
so
no.
I had a team of like my clients at the time. They did it, and I was just watching.
Oh, at least you were still there to support, though.
But what I found was, obviously training for the half marathons helped with the cardio, but what I didn't do enough of was compromised running. Like, I was breathing out of my arse for an hour and 30 minutes. Me and my client did it, and we're both strong, like we're both powerful. But I was just like, that was a mistake. That was like, I finished. I was like, oh.
Well, at least you can go back and reflect on like, what did I do? What can I do better next time? And then now you're going to be more prepared and knowledgeable. Yeah,
like I think the next one I want to do is in the States, like even Vegas next January. Yeah,
the Las Vegas Marathon.
Yeah, one of my clients, Canal, did that with his partner, and they absolutely smashed it. And when you're in that environment, you're just like, oh, why didn't I do it? Why didn't I sign up?
Yeah.
And it's the same when we did a half marathon last year in San Diego with one of my clients. My wife was watching, and she did the half marathon before with one of my other clients, Sean. So I do a lot of client events because it's...
I saw you post that. I love that. It's like great motivation.
Yeah, and I think it's, in a way, it's mainly for me, like selfishly, in the way, it's not for like content or exposure or anything like that, but getting them from like both guys that I did the half marathon with, they couldn't run 5 minutes without stopping.
That's amazing.
And then we took them through the training and all the mental side of things. And then we did the event together and crossed the finish line together.
It's
and then got
nice
really drunk together.
Oh, I love it.
Amazing. No, but it's those moments where like kind of you're coaching them through the whole journey and then the event itself. I know I haven't got the time. I need like 6 of me to do all the events with everyone. But that feeling is one of the best ever. It's amazing.
Because not only are you accomplishing it, but you're seeing someone else accomplish their goal that they didn't think was possible. So I'm sure that's very rewarding.
Yeah. So with kind of the half marathon, you mentioned about obviously when you're running 7+ miles in prep, you have a bit more flexibility with nutrition. So would you, like what I do, like with people going to prep and events, will be like a training day and non-training day, like kind of nutrition split. So we'd push, like keep carbs and keep protein always relatively high. But on training days, we'd push carbohydrates a little bit more. Females' fats would still be relatively high as well, but to obviously facilitate recovery and performance. Do you say you follow a similar?
I do follow something very similar. Maybe almost it sounds like the exact same thing. On the day, because the days that I'm burning so many calories, like I am going to eat more carbs. Like I'll be a little bit more carb heavy, even for breakfast. Really, all of my meals, but so I feel like fueled the entire time. And then on the days that are like my off days or just like a light like lifting day, or if I'm just didn't do yoga and stretch, then my carbs are gonna be pulled back a lot. Yeah.
Do you have any kind of race nutrition strategies, or do you just literally start, go?
What's crazy is the one I did in January, the Las Vegas Marathon, was the half marathon, was the first time I didn't do it fasted. So I used to always do all of my workouts and runs fasted because
crazy.
Because they're all so early, and I was like doing the intermittent fasting from 11 to 7, not fully understanding the nutrition part on that, but I just felt good. And then I listened to a podcast about how women's bodies are different than men, and like how all of that works. So now I do not have coffee, and I do not do any like physical activity until I have eaten like a proper breakfast. And I honestly feel the same, which is kind of weird, but I know it's probably better long term for my body not to do, 13.1 miles fasted. I would obviously have a coffee and do like the little energy blocks like throughout my run, and I always felt great. I didn't ever feel like terrible, but now I'll do like overnight oats, like with protein, with chia seed, with like a bunch of things inside of it, and then have my coffee and then run.
So you say that you don't feel the difference, but do you feel the difference when you're training? Do you feel like you've got more energy? Because
yes, a little bit. Yes.
I do kind of relate to that. Like my runs are sometimes better when I'm fasted because digestion. You don't have to think about digestion as long as you're hydrated. You have a black coffee or whatever, off you go. If I run any later than 9 a.m., I'm going to have to eat something, but it has to be like 3 hours before. Whereas I know one of my clients, Martin, like before the High Rocks, he had like yogurt and fruit, and I was like, mate, that won't digest well. He goes, mate,
yeah.
But he goes, I'll do it every session, mate. I'm sweet. Okay. And I was like, that was just like, wow, everyone is really, really different. So yeah, for me, like what I do as well is push the education around understanding digestion and energy. So with all the meal plans, about right, if this doesn't digest well, then we can change this food source, because everyone can have, let's say, a chicken thigh or a steak, and it will digest differently from person to person.
That's true.
Have you found anything with kind of what you bake is like digest well? And what I'm trying to get at is like pre-workout fuel, where you can be like, have a little bite of that, because sometimes genuinely I'll have, if I need that little spike in sugar, I'll have like literally 2 squares of dark chocolate, and people watching that, I'll be like, that doesn't make any sense. But when you're kind of in prep or cutting, or you want to get out and you haven't got time to have a meal then run straight after, because obviously you'll get a stitch and the performance is going to drop. So honestly, it's a hack. 2 squares of dark chocolate, off you pop.
I'll try that next time for sure. I've done half of a cookie and then gone on a run. But like the way my body metabolizes, it's burning the sugar, and so it's giving me that energy. I've done that, but for the most part, I am not eating sugar before I go run, and that's more like afterwards. I'll reward myself with that.
Yeah, absolutely. Right. So across your week, how many days, hours are you spending creating new recipes, like you say with the protein cookie coming out? That must have taken months.
Oh yeah, that was like almost like an everyday thing, and then I would stop for a couple of days because I was like so frustrated I couldn't get certain things down, and then it's like for me, I'm like there's no rush, right? Like I can take as long as I need to figure this out. For me, I just wanted to get it right. But I have certain days that I'm scooping cookie dough, I'm making dough. There's certain days that I'm making like different recipes or coming out with different ideas. Certain days that I'm baking and then delivering, or they're picking up. And yeah, I think having a structured like schedule, like even though like I'm working from home and I like make my own schedule, I think that's like where I thrive.
Yeah. For me, it's just like understanding time and learning how to utilize time creates more time, which might sound a little bit confusing. But for me, it's like eating the frog in the morning. So to relate that to
doing
you,
the hard things.
It would be like, right, that rest after 9 o'clock, I'll have to have some source of like carbohydrates and fats to fuel it. Because I know you did say that you ran fasted for literally a long, long time. You trained fasted.
Yes, not anymore. But yes, I just like that feeling of like, feeling light. But I know like for women it's different. So I don't do that anymore. So I will have like overnight oats or like some eggs, avocado, just like this depends. But sometimes like when I need like a little extra push, I'll have a cookie. No, not a whole cookie. I'll have like half of a cookie or something sweet. Like you were saying, like some chocolate squares or a piece of fruit. Just something to give me that like, because I don't take pre-workout anymore and I don't drink energy drinks. So I'd rather just have it from the food.
Yeah, I think one thing that people should take away from this, anything like if you're going in for a long distance run, don't have protein, in my opinion. If you're training in the morning, like I went for a run the other day and I had a bagel and some banana on top, energy straight away, instead of having kind of...
Because then your body doesn't need to break it down. It's like not working as hard.
Because protein's obviously the hardest macro to digest. But it obviously, after you've run, get it in you.
Exactly.
And just like rebuild and recover. So with kind of Lammy's Bakehouse, let's go back to that.
Yes.
So tell everyone where you are. Is it every Sunday?
Yes, so every Sunday at the Uncommons from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m., there's a farmer's market, and I will be there every Sunday. And there's a bunch of different vendors, so you can go get your sourdough bread, you can get some sea moss, your produce, and then all your cookies.
But everyone should go there for the cookies.
Yeah, yes.
Do you kind of do, not so much, well, I suppose market research in the sense of like, right, that's selling. People aren't really, is it more seasonal as well? Like Valentine's Day, obviously, seen on your
holidays.
Socials,
Yes, the holidays are always very, very busy, hectic, but great. And then I've noticed this past year is my first year going full time, and summertime in Vegas, when it gets over 105 degrees, the farmers markets slow down. It's just too hot, and it's totally understandable. There are some night markets that do well, but then it's still 100 degrees when it's like 9 p.m. here. So that was a learning curve for me. So when let's say like June, July, August, those are my slower months. For me, that's when I'll take maybe some time for myself, and I'll still be working, but I'm going to take like a little vacation here or there,
Yeah, that's...
instead of working through it.
That's vital. And I think one thing that people maybe don't understand is when you own your own business, you love so much of what you do that it doesn't feel like work, but then it gets to the point where it's just like, okay, I actually need to not take a step back, but take a deep breath and just be like, right, everything's going to survive.
Yes.
I'm in a good place.
You can take a vacation and
my
enjoy
clients
it.
are happy. Like everyone that I've sold my produce to is happy. I'm going to have some me time. And stepping away from that, like initially for me, was scary. And I remember putting a message into my like community group. And then the first message was from one of the OGs, guy. He's unreal. He goes, mate, we're not going to die. And I was
Go
like,
enjoy yourself.
Yeah, he was like, I was like, oh God. And I was like, yeah, obviously. It was like, if there is an emergency,
they can reach out to you.
But they're not, no. What emergency? They're not going to call me. They're going to call like emergency services.
True.
They'll be like, oh, I had an extra slice of pizza. That isn't an emergency. Like, relax. We're all good.
Yeah.
So with like this year, like you said, have you got any vacations planned? Or...
So I have a couple of places. I haven't booked everything, but I have like the months because I just like was looking back. I did this like a couple weeks ago, and I was looking back to like I have like a spreadsheet, and so like the slower months, the months like that I can take time off and not feel like I'm missing anything and like just be able to relax. So I'll have a couple trips. I want to take like at least 3, like one like trip overseas, and then like 2 or 3 like small ones in the States. And so I have the dates planned out. So I haven't booked it yet, but I will. So
yeah, I love that because what you've said in this conversation is that you have half marathons coming up, a Spartan, you want to do a High Rocks, knowing you probably got another half marathon later in the year. So you have these big events like with your own personal goals like fitness, but then you've also planned out kind of, in England we say holidays, but vacations.
Yes, the holidays, yeah.
And that's key because they're like, you are cementing balance into your life, into your routine. So then it allows you to take a break from training, take a break from work, take a break from baking. Even though you love both of those things, then it will allow you to go back in to your 2 passions, which you're very successful with a much like clearer headspace.
Yeah, it's like a new perspective. You feel refreshed and you're just like excited.
Yeah.
And it's to continue that excitement because like, I guess my biggest thing is like just it's figuring out balance with my personal self, with my relationships, like with work, with fitness, with everything. And there's so many things that we're doing at once. And so it is always so nice, even if you're getting away for 2 days, because it gives you like a new perspective. It's like a little refresher, and then like you're back on it. So
I think it is key. And also when I'm on runs and I'm just, those runs where you just, every song sounds good.
Yes.
You're just like you say, in
so
flow state, you're just
into
like
it.
absolutely just loving it. That's when all these ideas come, like all these. And I remember so many times I'm like running whilst trying to text,
I do the same thing, or I'll like say it into the phone,
Yeah.
like open up a note and just like speak into the phone. Because like it is like so many great like creative ideas just come when I'm in that headspace.
Yeah, and this is something that I'm pushing more with like really busy, high-performing professionals and like CEOs, entrepreneurs and all that, because they're so focused on making their businesses a success, but they're neglecting their health, when their health will make it even a bigger success.
Yeah.
So even when you're making new recipes, doing the research, trial and error, all these things, and I'm building out new programs, perfecting frameworks and all these things, it can get a bit too much at times, even if you love what you do. So the first thing I do is just take myself away from that situation or away from that environment. And yeah, we can go for a run on the treadmill, but for me, running outside, your scenery changes. Like, and
You
it's
need
just
that, for sure.
Yeah, for me, it's just as soon as I get into that, not negative downward spiral, but as soon as I feel myself getting onto like, oh, it's going, I'm just like, nope.
I know exactly what you're saying. I'll go on a run. I'll go walk the dogs. I'll like go grab something from like Sprouts or Whole Foods and come back, and then it just changes everything. You just need like a little bit like of time away from that setting.
100%. So the one question that, because basically, obviously, with the High Performance Hub, you are achieving high performance in both fitness and business with a bakery business, which is, they don't match.
I know, it's like
It's like you said before, like
itself. It's so funny.
fat and fit kind of thing.
Yeah.
But what you've done is marry the two together in a way that's right for you. And like I said before, you're setting an example for people to enjoy both sides of the coin, so to speak. Which one gives you the most kind of fulfillment if you had to choose between the two?
That's so tough. I would probably lean more towards the fitness. I think that does, just because that like my whole life kind of revolves around that, as well as the baking. But really, like the fitness and like all of that discipline and like that came first, and then that brought me like I can love the baking, but if I didn't have the discipline and the resilience and just the structure from the fitness, I don't know if I'd be able to actually enjoy everything with the baking, because I feel like I definitely need that discipline that I got from fitness to be able to do my baking and to be able to enjoy the baking.
That's an incredible answer.
Yeah.
Amazing. I love
Thank
that.
you.
One thing that my mentor says to me, he goes, if your business was just to like kind of evaporate tomorrow, what would be the biggest lessons that you've learned from Lammy's Bakehouse and building to where it is?
Ooh, that's a great question. The biggest lessons. I think I learned doing the business full time and thinking and not really understanding like what goes behind like actually running a business like by yourself, because I'm like doing it by myself. And I'm about to I'm looking for 2 people to come help me. But for them, like last year and like even till now, I'm doing everything by myself, is just to be kind to yourself and to know that like you are enough and like you are doing enough, I think are the biggest things for me. And to celebrate the small wins, that goes together, because I would have little wins and I'm like, it's not enough. It needs to be this, it needs to be that. And it was like nothing was enough, but it was enough. And I was doing great things, and great things have happened. But like I just had this like, and I think the mentality of like wanting more is great, but I think if you don't have like a grasp on it, then it can maybe not make you appreciate the small things. And really the small things build up to the big ones. So.
But what just came to mind, like a really weird analogy, is you can't expect to be at your end kind of goal financially, success-wise with your business and linking that into a bakery, like your business, the first time you do a recipe, it's not going to be perfect. So you need to celebrate, oh, that actually works, but that didn't. Okay, sweet. Hold on to that. Work on that. And it's like a ladder of progress.
And it's the same thing. I compare it to running. It's like I didn't just go run 13 miles. Like I started off with like 1 and then 3 and then 5. It was like a progression, and everything in life is truly a progression. And it made me understand that is like give myself grace and to celebrate the small wins and just to always like be nice to yourself, because sometimes like that voice in your head is unforgiving, and to be able to control that and to just be present, I think is huge.
I think one thing for me for growing my coaching business was just not to rush.
Yeah, what's the rush? But I feel like, do you think you're always like kind of in a rush, or like before?
I joined a mentorship before the one I'm on now, and it was constantly like kind of, okay guys, how much money do we make this week? Or how much money, instead of being, okay, let's make you a better coach. Because that's the reason why I'm coaching, is to be a coach, not to. You see these guys driving Lambos and stuff, and I was like,
you want to make a difference in people's
yeah, exactly. Life. So a lot of like procrastination, a lot of imposter syndrome, all these things were just kind of. I suppose it's in every industry. Like you'll see someone that's driving a nicer car. You'll see someone that's got a bigger house doing the same job. You just be like, how have they got there? Why? I'm failing. I'm not as good as them. But there's no rush. Just take every step that is right for you and enjoy every step.
Exactly. Because that's like where the magic is. Like you need that, at least for me, you need that struggle, that adversity, because then when you get to where you're at, you enjoy it that much more because you worked so hard to get there.
Yeah. One thing that I struggle with is I reflect quite a lot, but I struggle with being proud. Not to get like your violins out and feel sorry for me, like playing the victim, but I'm always just focused on the next task. I'm always focused on like developing, growing, achieving better and more for everyone involved. And then my therapist and my mentor will be like, mate, do you know how far you've come in the last like 6, 12, 18, 24 months? And I'm like, yeah. And they're like, no, actually listen to what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And it is nice. And you do need those people around you to
remind you.
To remind you. But for me, I just go back to being humble in success. And
it's like humble to a fault almost, where it's like...
just being humble, but also being confident in what you're doing is right. And like we both do, we love what we do. And I think it shows. Well, I know it shows.
100% it does.
100%. So, Lamiya, I want to say thank you very, very much. This has been amazing, and I'm sure that this episode has just brought to light for a lot of people how to moderate and control nutrition, train hard, business, how to build success as an entrepreneur. It's been amazing. So if people want to find you, which I'm sure they will, I mean, I've got this box of cookies which are going to get absolutely devoured as soon as the camera goes off. So where can they find you?
You guys can find me on Instagram and TikTok at Lammys Bakehouse. And every Sunday at the Uncommons, I'll be there from 10 to 2.
Amazing.
Yes.
Thank you very, very much.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Well done.
Thanks.
Beautiful.
Yay!
That was good.